Okay, I'm going to show you different types of drainage and the different parts that you'll need to do drain lines. I don't have everything here with me right now, but I have a decent amount of stuff. So the difference between the different types of drains are, you're going to get to a lot of sites and a lot of people are going to say, I had French drains installed. That's what almost everybody says, but very few people actually have a French drain system here in Houston, and actually French drain systems don't typically work. Now, don't correct the homeowner when they say this, just listen, okay? It's no big deal, you know more than they do, don't make them feel stupid, just go on about your business because that's what everybody says. So now that we've got that out of the way, I can show you what a real French drain system is versus an area drain. So an area drain is meant to drain a area. So let's say that we have this large space in here. It's an area drain. So we would stick one of these types of catch basins here. We have a concrete catch basin. We have a 6-inch round plastic catch basin right here is what this guy is. And he's a little bit smaller. Then we have a little bit larger one here. This is a 9-inch catch basin. And you can put different types of ends on each one of these, whether you want it to flow out or you want it to stop. You don't have to worry about that. All you have to say is, how big of a catch basin do I need? We typically, our most common two are this little 6-inch guy right here that we use. This is a single outlet one. There's some of them have outlets on both sides. And then we use this bigger 12-inch concrete catch basin. The reason why we like this guy is because it's got big openings. It's great near beds. It doesn't get clogged up with mulch and grass and stuff like that. This guy, typically due to the size of the inlets, could get clogged up very quickly. So it's not as good for it. If it's a critical area and the customer just isn't going to do maintenance, this isn't the best solution. The 12-inch one is, but there's definitely a major price increase there. So you would stick one of these in the low spots and then have the water drain to it. That's an area drain. A French drain system is, we dig out a long trench. Let's say we had the same issue with water draining in this area right here. We would dig a trench right through the middle of this here. It'd be about 8 inches wide. And then we would put in one of these pipes that would have a sock around it. And it's the reason why it's got a sock around it is to keep soil and dirt from getting down into the pipe. We want to try to keep the sediment out of the pipe. And the pipe itself has holes in it. And there is PVC pipe that has holes in it, which will allow it to do it. This one here is an example right behind me. You can see this one has these larger holes in it, but obviously a lot of dirt can get in there, so we would want to put a sock over that first to do it. Now there are kits that you could sell that have all of that already built into one. It's corrugated, it's got these little styrofoam balls. It's a great French drain system, but let's pretend we're doing it this way. So you would put this pipe in it and then you would fill the whole thing with gravel. It's expensive because you need gravel, you need the pipe is more expensive, and then you have to haul off all of the old dirt because you're backfilling it all with gravel. That allows the water to move through the ground and into the pipe. That means the ground here is always soggy, but there's never any water like sitting on top of the ground. So it's all the water issues that we have are underground. That's where a French drain system comes in best. It comes in best along foundations and stuff like that. Now, then you've got sump pump systems. Sump pump systems are great whenever you're having to move water uphill. You've got a very flat yard, or you've got a yard where the backyard is actually lower than the street. Either the same level or lower, you just don't have enough slope. You need to move that water out. Now, sump pump systems are great for that. The one thing is you always have to have electricity. So if it's a critical situation, which I've had before down in the Champions area, totally flat yard, if the power went out, the house would flood. So you need to make sure you notify the homeowner that they put a generator on that system because it does depend on whether or not their house is going to flood. If it's not critical, they've got a big open farmland and they just have nowhere to take the water, but they need to shoot it out somewhere, then you can tell them, look, hey, when you got power, it's going to be running. When you don't, it's not going to be running. It also probably won't keep up, but it will continuously drain the water until it's all gone. So it just keeps working and working and working and working. Know your numbers. If you have questions, contact Aaron or Paul or your manager, and he can go over those numbers with you just to see if the pump you're putting in is big enough, if you need other options. Some pumps work off of a float switch. The float switch will, whenever there's no water in the basin, the float will actually kind of hang down like this and turn the pump off. Whenever water starts filling up, when it gets to a certain point, it will actually turn on the pump by this little switch in there. So I said you just have to have power to it. It's usually run by like a 2-inch discharge line, which is way cheaper because we don't have to shoot elevations on it. We just need to take that pipe from one point to the end and just make sure it's letting out at a good point, and you just shoot it out there. Let's see here. So we have French drains, area drains, channel drains. Okay, then there's the different types of pipe. So there's a corrugated pipe, which is the cheapest pipe that there is, and it's corrugated because it's got these little ridges in it, if you see down in there. And what allows that to do is it actually allows it to bend without using fittings, so it's cheaper that way. The drawback is, though, because of those ridges, the water moves slow and it gathers soil and dirt and stuff like that, so it gets clogged up and it will collapse after a period of time. So it's not really good. We hardly ever use it. The pipe that we do use is called SDR 35. As you can see, it's a pretty thick wall. It's this kind of turquoise. It's a very heavy duty pipe. If you were to stand on it, it's not going to collapse, not even in the slightest. There's other pipes that some guys use, and it's this thin wall drain pipe here. You can see I can almost squeeze it with my hand. It's not near as strong. So if it's going under a really deep surface or going underneath the driveway, I definitely don't recommend this thin wall drain pipe. It's just not strong enough to hold up over time. It can collapse as well too. And the SDR 35 is good for everything except going underneath driveways. I would use a Schedule 40 just to make sure that if a guy installing it's not running over with a bobcat or a tractor, that he's not going to crush the pipe, because even this SDR 35 is not strong enough to hold up to a tractor. I think that's it. Oh, and then the size of the pipe. So this is a 4-inch pipe right here, and it mainly goes by the diameter of the pipe. So it's 4 inches from top to bottom is what it is right there, and that's our most common type. It's also the smallest. We don't ever recommend a drain pipe being under 4 inches, but you can go bigger, 6, 8, 12, whatever you need. It's pretty rare that we, in a residential situation, that we go above a 6-inch drain pipe, but it has happened before. We've done 8s. That we've needed because we get a lot of rain here in Houston. So you want to make sure you size your pipe right to make sure you get that water out. The next most important thing that we do with our drain systems, and this is more just for your knowledge, is we always only use things like Ys and 45s. We never use Ts. We want to make sure the water has a nice smooth transition so the water can easily get out. If you're using Ts, when they kind of hit each other, it slows down the flow of the water significantly. So good luck with your drainage.